Hello and welcome to a new video. In today's video we're going to take a look at the best teams for the Master League Premier Cup, which is going to be available for 1 week next week, where actually starting tomorrow when you see this video, if you see it on the release date. But yeah, today we're going to take a look at the best teams for them. Here are no legendary Pokemon allowed, no ultra allowed, no mythical Pokemon allowed, just standard Pokemon. So if you enjoy this type of video, feel free to leave a like, would really appreciate it. Quite a bit of work, and we can move on to the team number 1. And as you see, the layout changed a little bit as well again. Well, I did a little bit of a mistake in the first slide here. That's going to be fixed later on as well. We're going to see here, the first team already. We're going to see Florges, the Golisopod, as well as the Ursaluna. As of common request in the last video, we have back some nice graphics here. For example, what kind of moves do you want to run? Here for Golisopod, by the way, I'm not too sure about it. Aerial Ace is recommended, which allows you to do a bit more damage. I think against Pokemon like the Chestnut, you would be able to do a lot more damage for. If there's going to be a team for Chestnut, because Chestnut is actually quite funny in this matter. But generally speaking, I could see that Exeter is the better move to go for Golisopod. Just being said there as well, Orquidget is always the best move to have, but then it's between Aerial Ace and Exeter, but I think Exeter just gives you better consistent matchups, especially against Dragon-type Pokemon, so I would actually recommend you to go for Exeter over Aerial Ace. I will keep Aerial Ace here because I don't have any practice with it, so that's why I have it here. Anyway, as you can see, this team looks really solid. Rhyperior, funnily enough, doesn't really look that great. Here, you can use Rhyperior or the Ursaluna. Of course, as I say, so you can have Feraligatr or Golisopod. And this is kind of on how those videos are built up now. Let's take a look at the difficult matchups. We're going to see here Roserade, which is kind of funny because the lead is really weak to it. And still has options, of course, to nuke away our backline with the Leaf Storm. And then we're going to have in the back here as well, as another Pokemon that's going to be a bit difficult, funnily enough, other Golisopods, as they're going to be able to destroy Rhyperior quite easily, or also the Ursaluna. Going to have a very neutral matchup, of course, against the other Golisopods, where I guess here you also have Aerial Ace because it's going to be super effective. And still have a very neutral play against the Florges, so you don't really have a good answer against this Pokemon. Doesn't mean that you're going to lose straight away against it, but generally speaking, this team looks like a really good one. Next up. Team number 2, we're going to have here Gholdengo, Goodra, as well as the Dragonite, especially a Shadow Dragonite is cool. Again, here you can also use Feraligatr as a safe swap. As we will see, this is going to be a very solid standard team. Can be an ABB style line, you can have an ABC style line if you use Feraligatr instead. But Gholdengo got buffed quite a bit with the Hex and makes it a really good Pokemon in the current meta, especially as Pokemon like Florges are really common. And as you see here, difficult matchups could be the Mamoswine, which can go for maybe a farm down against the Dragonite and then has ground and ice type coverage against the other 2 Pokemon. Or also the Hydreigon, which is going to be able to beat the Gholdengo and have some neutral play against the other 2 Dragon type Pokemon in the back. But generally speaking, again, nothing that is too crazy here that's going to be able to beat the entire team. Next up, team number 3, we're going to have here the Everluck as well as the Golisopod. The Everluck plus Golisopod is such a great call. In the back, we're going to have the Dragapult, which is going to be able to also resist fighting type damage. Of course, you can use something like a Goodra or a Dragonite as well. But as you'll see here, this is going to be a very solid team that has basically play against everything right now. Excalibur apparently is one of the issues from this team, as you can see here as well. The bigger issue actually going to be the Tyranitar here, but nobody's going to run Tyranitar or Excalibur, so you should be very fine with this team. This meta is definitely a little bit more neutral in terms of you're going to be able to have more teams that are going to have basically no hard counterplay, not a Pokemon that completely destroys it, which is not really the case in the Open Great League currently. But let's move on to the next team here. Quite a standard one as well. Goodra, Feraligatr, as well as the Gholdengo. Gholdengo definitely a Pokemon that you really would like to have in the current meta. As you see as well, again, a very solid one. Apparently, Goodra is an issue. Florges can be an issue with Feraligatr, not so much if you're on Golisopod. Golisopod is basically Feraligatr and better. So, if you can build a Golisopod, rather build the Golisopod. And the Hydreigon again in the back there, but we saw it basically with the other style of the team, where we had the Gholdengo in the lead, where the Hydreigon was a bit of an issue. But generally speaking, I feel like it's manageable, especially if you run the Golisopod over the Feraligatr. But I want to still make a video here where Feraligatr gets a bit of showtime, especially as you can now see in the middle as well, and how well this Pokemon performs in the 0-1 shield scenario. Next up, team number 5, we're going to have here the Hydreigon, Primarina, Florges. Very interesting team here, for sure. As you will see, this team is going to work out quite solidly. The one issue for this team might be the Florges. While you have your own Florges here, your lead is very weak to it, your Primarina is going to be weak to the Trailblaze of it, but still can actually deal with it kind of okay. And yeah, this can be an issue. You could maybe run something that's like a poison type in the lead or something, but I really want to have like a team here that is kind of double fairy backline, but Florges is actually the best answer for that, which is kind of funny. Another issue here might be Metagross, but again, it's going to be a very rare Pokemon in the current meta. Next up, we're going to have here, more of a classic line from this kind of meta, where we have Rhyperior a bit more in the focus, because this Pokemon doesn't really seem to be that great, but I think Energy Up, it's going to be very cool, and then the Two-Shield Snare, it's going to be very cool. We have the Say-Stop of Gyarados. Gyarados is still going to be a solid Pokemon, a bit worse to play this season, I think, because of the Florges. But then again, you're going to have crunch coverage against the Goldengo, which is kind of cool. In the back, we're going to have here the Goodra. Goodra is a very good Pokemon in this meta, thanks to the coverage it has. In difficult matchups, yeah, you can kind of avoid those if you run Metagross instead in the lead. Your decision. Again, Metagross is going to be mostly a bit worse, generally speaking, but has some potential to counter the Pokemon that you see on the screen. With Metagross as well, you can get guaranteed out the Florges from the opponent, which is kind of cool with the Gyarados Say-Stop, so Goodra can sweep endgame. This is actually my favorite team. This is actually my favorite team of today's video. We have the Golisopod in the lead, we have Machamp, the Shadow, and the Everluck. Both Everlucks are fine, by the way. Normal Everluck is a little bit better than Hisuian. But why is it my favorite team? Because you have an interesting style of the team, because you don't really care too much if your lead goes down. Your lead is supposed to stay in the matchups and try to do the best that it can do. Because if you take a look at the matchups that you kind of lose here, I would, by the way, again, go for Exeter over the Aqua Jet. Not over the Aerial Ace. Aqua Jet, of course, is must have there. But I see if you take a look at this, there's only really one Pokemon, or like two Pokemon that I'm a bit worried if your lead goes down, which is Annihilate and Goldengo. But neither of them I would predict going to be super common. And then you're going to have Machamp and Everluck there. I do think it's going to be a very cool core to have together. And so I do think it's going to be an interesting team for sure. I do think it's a team that will work out quite well. And there's not really a matchup that is completely bad for it. Again, like there can be matchups where it's going to be a bit tricky if your lead goes down, but usually it doesn't really have a difficult matchup. Team number 8, we're going to see here that it's going to be Skeldritch, Goodra, Baxcalibur. Florges is straight up better. Florges is just straight up better than Baxcalibur. I still just wanted to see Baxcalibur here and what it can do for you to showcase. Florges is the must-have kind of for this team, because it's going to make it so much better against Dragonite. Literally, Dragonite is not going to be an issue anymore if you swap your Pokemon in the back to Florges. Literally, the only difficult matchup is going to be gone with that one. You only have like benefits from it. So yeah, I don't really see the point of not doing that. But yeah, this team is very likely going to be one of the teams that I would want to run straight away from the Master League Premier Cup, because I do think this is a great team to run. And we can move on to team number 9. We're going to see here the Togekiss, we're going to have the Ursaluna, and we're going to have the Mamoswine. Mamoswine got buffed as well with Icicle Spear. Going to be an interesting Pokemon. Ursaluna Say-Stop still should be kind of fine here as well. And Togekiss lead, yes, you can run other fairy type Pokemon, you can run Florges or whatever, but I really like Togekiss here in the meta as well. I also got access to Psyshock, which is going to allow you to hit nothing really. There's not really. Yeah, you can hit Chestnut, which you also hit with an Aerial Ace. So yeah, that's the thing as well. Like Psyshock doesn't really help Togekiss too much, but still I think it's a cool team here for sure. And difficult matchups, Goldengo. Kind of because on which kind of ground type we have in the back, because both of them have resisted fast move pressure. If you have any of the other ones in there, it's not going to be too difficult. And I guess like it's a team effort against the Golisopod, so like that's going to be fine as well here. Final team, I told you there's going to be a Chestnut team in here. That's going to be the final one. Chestnut, Gyarados, and Goldengo. Goldengo, of course, to counter fairy type Pokemon. Chestnut is going to be very solid just generally. And as you'll see here, the only real weakness is going to be other Golisopods there as well, which are going to be able to have Aerial Ace for our lead and going to do super effective damage with a fast move against our Goldengo. Neutral play against the Gyarados, it's going to be generally neutral. Or also the Dragapult, I think it's called. I hope so, because this Pokemon is going to have, perfect typing for the lead and also still does super effective damage against the Goldengo. So yeah, it is what it is. This is going to be the team here. I like this team a lot as well. I don't think that anybody is going to run Dragapult. So yeah, this is going to be it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to leave a like and I will see you then. Bye bye.